Oh, CBC. Ah, your liberal overlords must really. You will be rewarded, I have no doubt, for your loyalty to your political masters and for espousing the rhetoric that they want so desperately to promote. Here we go. CBC News Politics. Headline: Canadians support budget except deficit, poll suggests. I mean, just with the headline alone, most Canadians would vote to pass the budget if they were MPs. Well, I mean, what all that tells me, I mean, that whole thing, well, all that really tells me is, yes, you're confirming what I have suspected and believed all along is, yes, through the power of indoctrination and the mysticism of collectivism, yeah, most Canadians are now inherently immoral people and will support immoral, unethical, and vile and despicable acts. Yeah, of course. I mean, so what you're saying is, let's use another scenario. There's a room filled with a pile of money that is not theirs, but someone puts on a poll and asks, if you were poor or you seen this big bundle of wealth and nobody said that you can't, people actually said, no, it's totally fine to go in and just take whatever you want. It's okay. Go ahead. And Canadians said, well, okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I support that. Duh. But of course, that's the thing. Somebody had to put the money in there. That money had to have come from somewhere. But that's the thing. The people that isn't part of the poll question. Obviously, it's like, well, actually, if the actual poll question was presented properly with, okay, so you're going to be enslaving future generations to pay for all these deficits and these increased retardedly, I mean, massively increased fucking budgets. The deficits are going to be in excess of $30 billion just this year alone. But basically, it's like, of course, most Canadians, because especially when you talk about these polls, first of all, let me tell you, I have never once been included in any of these polls ever. I'm 45 years old, and I've never been once asked to be a participant in any of these polls. I wonder why that could be. I'm a Canadian. I've lived in Canada my whole life. My family are all Canadian. We've all lived in Canada our whole life. Actually, I don't even have anyone in my immediate or extended family that has ever even lived outside of Canada for any extended period of time. So we are Canadian. But yet, I, or anyone that I know in my family, my immediate family at least, or those who I talk to and have a working relationship with, never heard any of us ever be asking these questions. So who answers these polls? Right? All these little things are something that you won't hear about except when you listen to people like myself that are willing to give you truth and talk truth to reason, logically, being consistent and moral. But as you'll see, you can read through these articles, this kind of shit day in, day out. I just actually finished listening to another BBC News presentation because just like in Canada, the UK too, they're trying to promote the universal basic income, full-on socialism. A whole hour-long presentation they did on BBC, but not one critical question was actually asked. See, this is the thing with propaganda. It's all narrowly defined. No one's going to ask the questions you'll hear people like myself ask. You will never hear it. And not in these articles, not in any media, the news publications, on your establishment news outlets or networks. You'll never hear any of this stuff. Why? It's because you're only allowed to think within the paradigm that they allow you. If you try to step outside that bound, well, you'll be like me, where they'll try to squash you, silence you, do everything in their power. I mean, just look at social media. People that are actually talking about truth and reason and logic, people like myself, look, our pages, our channels, all the things that we put out gets just a tiny, tiny bit of attention. right? But if you espouse anything that's great for the state, oh shit, trending, 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 trending. This is the way it is, folks. It's not popular in this modern era. It's not. There's no populism involved when you're talking about being principled and speaking truth to reason and being logically consistent, having universal morals and ethics. Yeah, we're a massive minority, but we're talking about here, we're mob rule, majority rule, because this is a democracy. Canada, Kanakistan is a democracy. Mob rule. Democracy means mob rule. And the mob rule, according to this article in CBC Politics, is the mob saying, yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, man. Who cares about future generations, or who cares about the people that are even living today that are being plundered and dictated and oppressed constantly, and the ones that don't want to have anything to do with it, the people like myself, what they're saying is fuck these guys, or fuck these gals, or fuck these babies or kids or the unborn. Fuck them. We're living in the here and now. I actually currently like the entitled lifestyle I'm living, but that I get to live by having the capacity to steal and plunder, anybody at any whim, and future generations now with the fiat currencies that all countries function under now. So they're all saying, yeah, keep this shit going, man. So CBC News is basically, but they're not going to tell you. See, that's the thing. Listen to what they're going to present, but you'll know in your head, yeah. So if the majority of Canadians are saying, oh yeah, man, yeah, run up these fucking massive deficits and create these increased budgets, who gives a shit? Keynesianism. We're all dead anyways, right, in the long run. Canadians may not love the $29.4 billion in deficit spending announced in Tuesday's federal budget, but they can live with it, are broadly supportive of many of the measures included in the budget, and would pass it if they were MPs, a new poll suggests. Eric Grenier, Grenier, politics and polls. So this fucking Eric Grenier is the founder of 308. Yeah, so whatever. Piece of shit. Man, I'd love to be able to meet this fucking person and just look him straight in his eyes and just, say what I've got to say, and watch him fucking squirm like the little fucking piggy he is under the principled questions that I would put forth. Oh, I'd love to be. Oh, someday, I hope to. Maybe someday some of these cowards will actually have the overconfidence to accept my challenge, but they're cowards. Will never happen. The survey conducted by Abacus Data shortly after the budget was tabled and commissioned by EY found that Canadians are generally looking on the budget favorably, if not enthusiastically. Well, here I am as a Canadian. I don't, but does it matter what hey, fuck you, Bennett. We don't give a shit what you think. This is mob rule. This is Canada. We function under mob rule. So if the majority disagree with you and the majority says that, hey, we get to plunder you or your grandkids, fuck, we don't give a shit what you oppose that? Too bad. Mob rule. We get our way, you lose. That's democracy for you, people. Which is why it's the most disgusting and vile, even worse than fucking a lot of the old people used to say, oh, democracy is the best of all. Well, if you're a central planner, I suppose democracy is the best of all central planning fucking ideologies, because yeah, it's so entrenched. You have way more people, whereas kings or dictators or pharaohs, yeah, they were just like a single figurehead. Didn't have quite that power, that capacity that democracy does. Central planners love democracy, especially when they can convince the masses through public indoctrination, the school system, the majority of them to go along to get along, right? Among those who think the budget is different from those budgets tabled during Stephen Harper's government, which represented 81% of Canadians with some familiarity with the budget, nearly half thought it was better, almost twice the number who thought it was worse. Among those Canadians aware of the budget, 51% would certainly or probably vote to pass it, compared with just 34% who would vote to defeat it. even the 34%, they're still functioning in the statist paradigm. So I don't even fucking give a whole lot of respect for those people, but at least they're better than the fuckers that want to rob me even worse, right? The lesser of the evils, really. The list of items that Canadians were most likely to say would be positively rather than negatively affected by the budget reads like the Liberals' 2015 election campaign platform: infrastructure, the middle class, and opportunities for younger Canadians. Oh, by the way, middle class in Canada, when you're hearing those words, that term bounced around, that's talking about government fucks. That's not talking about anyone in the public, the private sector, like small business owners or people that are relatively successful, in the private sector. When they're talking about the middle class is just another word, just like democracy is another word for collectivism or socialism or fascism. It's another iteration. But it's just, middle class is just, like I say, they have to switch these terms and words up periodically so that each generation is confused and confounded as to understand the oppression that happened before, right? That's all it is. Sleight of hand, man. However, on most items, roughly half of respondents thought the budget would have no impact one way or the other. Canadians are fucking stupid, obviously. Most Canadians. When they say majority, that means most Canadians are stupid fucks. So when I'm out in the public, I don't mind acknowledging, it's always presented to me anyway, so I see that in real life. Yeah, most Canadians nowadays, thanks to the public indoctrination systems that have continued now unimpeded and unencumbered for what? I guess you're going on probably 3-4 generations now. So yeah, after 3 or 4 generations, you can definitely get the masses to believe in pretty much anything if you can pound that into their heads from early ages. How do you think it works in every other all those governments or all those countries that you hate all around the world? How do you think all those populations stay indoctrinated in all of those beliefs that you think, they're so stupid? Because they have the same thing. It's pounded in children's, whether it's through church, the dogmatic systems of church or religions or state, which is just another quasi-religion, another cult. That's how you have to indoctrinate people's minds. No matter what kind of religion or ideology, it has to happen at very early ages. Whereas people like myself or people that are libertarians, voluntarists, anarchists, critical thinkers, we're saying is those are the times actually you should not be hammering anything into people's minds. You should give them a wide-ranging perspectives. But of course, they should all be entrenched in objective reason and logic. So you can give them lots of different scenarios and formulations of how liberty should exist or how people should cohabitate and coexist. But every one of them, no matter what you're trying to promote, they should all be entrenched in logically consistent, universally ethical morals and principles or economic fundamentals, right? But all religions, all states leave that exception so that the mysticists can be the imposers of that ideology and the rest are just the serfs and slaves or the subjects. The most widely supported measure was the reduction in middle class tax rates at the expense of the wealthiest Canadians. Fully 72% of Canadians said they supported or strongly supported this measure, and 93% said they either supported or accepted it in the current circumstances. Of course, most people say, well, yeah, steal from the rich. Don't fucking steal from me. Steal from the rich motherfuckers. They can afford to. But none of them will accept the fact that theft is wrong. They're just saying, don't steal from me, steal from someone else. It's misdirection, right? Or deflection is what you're talking about. Canadians are just deflecting. It's like, no, don't come after me. Go after. But propagandists, that's what they use these polls for. So they can trick your mind and convince you that, well, maybe I should believe that these deficits and these increased budgets and stealing and plundering the masses or the poor or the wealthy or anyone. We should accept that because, if the majority of people accept it, well, I don't want to be an outsider. I want to be accepted by my community too, so I better go along to get along, right? Fuck that shit. That don't work for me. I'm much too independent, much too strong, and I have a critical mind. I have the intellectual capacity to recognize and realize the bullshit that's inherent in that, and I could point it out without any real serious fear of retaliation or retribution. Even if it does happen, I'm going to speak the truth regardless. Because I am honestly objective, logically consistent, and reason in everything I speak about. Which is why I know I'll never meet that populist approach or that populist scenario where I'll have the majority of people accept and embrace what I speak about. That'll never happen. Well, in the current paradigm anyways, because I'm just... my voice is being quelled and squashed and silenced continually. I'm not allowed in this current status paradigm to be able to espouse what I have to say unencumbered or unimpeded. Unlike the statists, unlike the collectivists, I don't have a big army of enforcers, nor would I want that, to allow me to force my ideology on others. Well, actually, that's the thing. Nor would I want it. That's just the truth of it, folks. People like myself don't want to impose on you, and I won't use trickery. I won't do anything underhanded to make it so that you have to listen to what I have to say. I just hope that you will. I just hope that somehow, some way, good, honest, and decent people will see this and share it with others so that it will be propagated naturally. If you do, if that does happen, it will have a beneficial and a positive effect on us all. Proper intellectual education is necessary for the advancement of liberty, for the advancement of the human intellect, for the advancement of human cooperation and coexistence. It's a Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.